Richard Vargas earned his BA at Cal State University, Long Beach, where he studied under Gerald Laughlin and Richard Lee. He edited, published 5 issues of the Tequila Review from 1978 to 1980, and 12 issues of the Mas Tequila Review from 2010 to 2015. Vargas received his MFA in creative writing from the University of New Mexico in 2010. He was the recipient of the 2011 Taos Summer Writers Conference Hispanic Writer Award. He was on the faculties of the 2012 10th National Latino Writers Conference and the 2015 Taos Summer Writers Conference. Published collections include McLife, American Jesus, Guernica Revisited, and now How a Civilization Begins.
The first poem I'm going to read is kind of like my credo for how I feel about poetry. It's titled, It's All About the Poem. This is how it begins, except there is no beginning. There never was. Be the blank sheet of paper, crisp and clean, pure and unmarked. Be still and quiet as letters appear to become words, becoming images, invoking feelings passing through the void. Be the space between the lines and stanzas. Be the infinite. There is no I. The me does not exist. Only the empty vessel. The beauty of this moment is every time this is read, the energy expands beyond itself. This is where it ends, except it never ends. Be still, be quiet. It happens. It is. During my self-imposed isolation during COVID, I wrote a lot of poetry and took the time to actually put this book together. And I'm sure we're all in that boat where we were doing a lot of creative stuff just to maintain our sanity. This poem is titled, Dying in a Country That Is Great Again. The government invested heavily in killing machines, but not so much in life-saving machines. Doctors will have to decide which of us will be relegated to breathe our last. The elderly and frail versus a young breadwinner with a family to feed versus a wheelchair-bound paraplegic versus a teen with a lot of life waiting to be lived. It's a class they don't teach in med school. Then the nurses will give us whatever feel-good drug is near, pull the plug and tubes, hold our hand so we don't die alone. Once it is done, they will check the roster, move on to the next bed, repeat the ritual, saving their tears for shift's end when the brittle shell cracks and the numbing red yolk spills out and breaks. Exhausted angels administer mercy in hell by the dawn's early light as our bodies stack up in refrigerated trailers parked in the back. One thing that did happen during COVID was during all the updates on TV, I discovered the importance of the people who use sign language to get the message out to the population that's deaf or hearing impaired. This poem is called Hands. The governors and the mayors have been saying the same things every day for over a month. Their monotone monologues effective as a double dose of melatonin. It's only natural that eyes drift over to their sidekicks, the person off to the side whipping hands and digits with lightning speed, contorting facial expressions to emote the physical language they share with their brethren. Some look like maniacal Sunday morning preachers in the midst of waking up a still half asleep congregation. And others are calm as a single mom opening up and pulling in a troubled child in need of comfort. They vary in color, size, and shape. I wonder if they ever slip, throw in a, "This person is so full of bullshit. She just said." If I were doing the job, it would not be for long because I would be tempted to tell my version of the truth until the hook was extended from behind the curtain, pulling my ass off the stage, never to be seen again. The title poem, How a Civilization Begins, came about because I was pondering how we like to think it began with the making of fire or the printing press or getting a clump of clay and poking symbols in it, our first attempt at writing or the invention of the wheel, when actually I think it was all by accident. How a civilization begins. Could you run fast enough the first time you heard the pop, pop, pop? So unlike the noise of deer walking on dried leaves or the splash a fish makes sleeping into night air for the low-flying mosquito. Did you hide behind a tree or big rock all day until hunger or cold or both gave you courage to go back to the cave where you found it scattered all over the floor? Did you pick it up, smell it, lick it, put it in your mouth, light as snow, puffy as daffodil, crunchy like a cricket? Did you want to know the secret, the trick, the magic? Did you want to make more? This poem is called We Will Never Know. Who was the man on the grassy knoll? What was the color of J. Edgar Hoover's favorite pair of panties? Did the aliens give Ronald Reagan a butt probe, and did he like it? By now, we should be fine with all the stuff we will never know. It was never meant for us, but for those rich white college guys in secret fraternities who drink frog blood and smear themselves with chicken guts while dancing naked in secret rooms in the basement, where they determine who will be presidents, Supreme Court justices, and senators. They roll dice for their future wives, hope she's not playing and comes from old money. And we, the common folk who will never know, should never know, would go insane if we did know, carry on our simple lives, poor and pissed, pay taxes and die in ignorant bliss. She whispers, "Don't leave me." And we stay connected, me still inside her, shifting my weight so she can breathe easy. The air in the room is thick and primal, smells erogenous, drips down the walls with sticky pleasure. Just two lovers in the dark, holding on, not going anywhere, lying in our wet spot, waiting for the world to end. How I wrecked my first car. It's taken me a long time to be able to tell this story. We were parked in the back of a local industrial park, half-naked teens in the front seat, putting the warm Southern California night to good use. A helicopter overhead shined its spotlight on us, worse than a cold shower. We made a run for the open road, wanted to be invisible, didn't use headlights, didn't see the concrete curb waiting for us dead ahead, like the iceberg that sank the Titanic. Fluids leaking everywhere, steering column bent crooked, a flat tire. Cops pulled up. Mayday, Mayday, we were going down. But she rose to the occasion, showed no hesitation as she opened the door and stepped out, cooler than a cherry popsicle, approached the cop car, explained with a straight face we got a flat on the road, pulled into the parking lot to change the tire, thought it was the safe thing to do. They nodded and left. Then she turned around, started walking towards me. Bright glow of a nearby street lamp highlighting the soft curves of her silhouette, bending over to kiss my swollen nose, whispering in my ear that my t-shirt was inside out. I'm going to read an excerpt from the essay that's at the end of the poetry in my book. It's titled A Father's Gift. And well, here goes. My daddy's a cowboy, I used to proclaim to my classmates in kindergarten, watching him roll his own cigarettes with the pungent tobacco he kept in a shoebox is one of my favorite childhood memories. How he would sprinkle the dried weed into the coarse yellowed paper, roll it between his fingers, and then with one fluid motion, swipe the tip of his tongue along the glued edge. I had watched John Wayne do the same thing 100 times in the movies, but he had nothing over my father. Our other ritual was the washing of the car every Saturday morning. The chrome was polished till it sparkled in the warm mid-morning sun, and I could see my reflection in the baby blue paint job. Then I would climb in on the passenger side and in a time before seatbelts, stand up and hold on as we took the car for a cruise. My slick lowrider father and his mejito driving slowly through the streets of downtown Compton. He rolled up the windows and lit one of his special cigarettes. The cloud of secondhand smoke did not smell harsh like regular cigarette smoke, but was sweet and pleasurable as it filled my little lungs. Everything slowed down to a crawl, and the shop windows displaying women's shoes and the mannequins wearing the latest fashions drifted by like a hazy summer dream. The sounds of Ray Charles or Bobby Darin played on the radio as my father's friends pulled up alongside us at the red light, their dark hair combed back slick and shiny from greasy gobs of Tres Flores pomade. Information was passed back and forth about the weekend's parties and dances, which girls would be where and who scored what. Then they nodded in my direction. Shit, Richard, he looks just like you, Esse. Hey, little man, you doing all right? You keeping your old man in line? They would laugh as the light changed and pull ahead to the next familiar car on the road, collecting and disseminating news about the neighborhood like a switchboard on wheels. And this last poem is, I'm reading it because Hispanic History Month is coming up. And I think it speaks to how some of us might feel. This is called Cinco de Mayo. Everybody's Mexican. Kiwi mango flavored margaritas, chips made with organic non-GMO corn, mild salsa from Trader Joe's, designer tequilas costing mucho dinero. Everybody's Mexican, fake mustache, sombrero, guacamole, and oye, como va. Everybody's Mexican, job stealing, drug dealers, rapists, and criminals, no good for nothing, house cleaning, car washing, lawn mowing, crop picking, cooks, and nannies. Easy to be a Mexican for just one day. Hard to be a Mexican 24/7 in the USA. Thank you.